Hello, everybody. Hello, friends. Super excited to be back because today is episode 4 of Healing Our Homes podcast. Today's topic is one of my favorites, and it's showing ourselves love. So, the first topic is showing ourselves love through self talk, which I think is really important because up until honestly, I signed up for the self care space and started that program. I think that was the very first month. Um, Up until then, I kind of didn't realize how bad the negative self talk was. But when you start becoming aware of it, then you're aware of how often it comes up and how often it comes up, not just for you, but like coworkers was a big one, family. I mean, just anybody that you're associating with or spending your time with. So I think sitting back and observing is really the first step, which is kind of hurts at first because you don't realize how often you do it and how much you do it. And like, not only just about like looks, but like, I don't know, stupid stuff like making mistakes. Or for me, I'm really forgetful. So when I would forget something, it would just be like, I don't know, super mean to myself inside my head. Um, so I think the first step, like I said, is just kind of sitting back and observing. And then from there, you just kind of almost with anything else, kind of have to just like rewrite the narrative or shift the way your mind thinks about it, which is hard. I mean, it's kind of hard to do at first, but I will say it does get easier. Um, and honestly, I'm just going to jump right to Rachel. What are your thoughts on self talk?
So I totally agree. I have definitely struggled in the past with not being nice to myself. I'm sure everybody has been at some point in their lives. Being really hard on yourself about sports or school or really anything is just, it can really take a toll on your mental health. What I find helps me at least is trying to, like Felicia said, just really trying to almost like catch yourself when you're in the moment and really just think like, why am I thinking this? Why is this popping into my brain and not another positive thought? And possibly changing it to a positive thought and just telling yourself that you are okay, everything is going to be okay, and you will prosper, you know? Um, and I think that I recently started, I was journaling before, but it was more of just like a kind of like notebook journal where you just write your feelings. But now I have a journal that actually kind of goes step by step, and I write down what I'm grateful for every day and a daily affirmation each day. And I try to write a few under the daily affirmations, just to kind of get my mind right for the day almost, and kind of set myself up for a happy day, you know, happy mind, happy life, right? um, but yeah, I think that that's pretty much all I got on self-talk right now. It's really hard to get it down, but once you do, I promise you will feel 100% better. And I think I'm going to throw it over to Ashley.
Yeah, I think I would actually agree how like the first step with what Felicia said, that the first step is really just observing your thoughts and like figuring out how you are talking to yourself. And to be honest, I think I'm still somewhat in that step. Like I'm really just trying to notice all of the ways that I talk to myself and about myself in my head. And I think one way with me is like I put thoughts into other people's brains, people who aren't even relevant to my life. Like I'll walk by someone at the grocery store and like think, what are they thinking of me? Like I think that's a lot of my self-talk, which is really weird, but I'm coming to realize that. And I think I'm putting too much emphasis on what people think of me. And I don't know. So that's just one thing that I've recently become aware of. But I think I am definitely still in the process of becoming aware of my self-talk. And then from there, trying to change it, like Rachel said, just trying to figure out if I'm having this negative thought, how can I shift it into a positive one or even like a neutral one? Like I know in the self-care space, Megan and Katrina talk a lot about how taking little steps is much more effective than just jumping from one extremely negative thought to like the complete opposite, because that's hard to do. This whole thing is so hard. Learning your self-talk and reframing it, it's so hard, and it takes so much time, but it, like Rachel said, it feels amazing to even just be on the journey of fixing my self-talk and making it better.
Well, I'm gonna say a little something because I feel like I won't say I have a different experience with this, but I feel I had such a low experience during my high school years. I feel that through those years, I witnessed a lot of mental health struggles in those around me. And obviously, we all have our own personal mental health struggles, whether it's something consistent and chronic or it's something that is just a mental health struggle that comes seasonally. Like people talk about seasonal depression all the time. Even that is just a small mental health struggle. And during those struggles, I think is where I tend to have a hard time not having too much of positive self-talk, because as someone who, I don't know if you guys know, if you've been around for a second, I'm a very big optimist. I am very positive because whenever I was younger I had those lows and I saw people experience those lows and I was like, how can I just be so excited about life that I never take it for granted, essentially. And I'll be totally honest, I'm super proud of myself for, I feel like, oh my gosh, sorry, Rachel's cat was back there and I got really excited. But so, oh my gosh, talking you shall receive. Oh my goodness, talk about manifestation. Check out our last episode because that's what that was. What a cute critter. Okay. So what was I going to say? I am so very proud of myself because my self-talk has developed to a point of where I need to make sure I'm giving myself time to not be positive. And even if I'm not being positive, just to clear my mind, because I think I forget that I don't have to be in this all-in mentality, kind of like Ashley touched on. I love that you mentioned it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like flipping a switch and then it's done and you're positive and excited all the time. It's going to be it's going to be months and months and months of consistent, like you said, catching yourself. And like Rachel said, reminders whenever you do catch yourself, like you can change this self-talk. You can challenge that thought in that moment. And those small moments will occur often within the first several weeks and the first maybe month or two of working to change your self-talk. But I've come to realize, like, especially, we've all mentioned the self-care space. Shout out to them, not sponsored, but seriously though, if you guys see this, that's an idea. Okay. But our self-talk just has such an impact, and it's not a quick switch, but it is something that when you work towards identifying small moments, you can attempt to change a thought in, kind of like switch the thought itself. Those will happen a lot. If you're looking for the overall change, it's going to take a really long time. But if you're looking for the small moments, there's going to be a lot of them. It might feel a little overwhelming, but that's kind of the beauty of it, because before you know it, you've seen a lot of those moments and you've caught yourself and challenged the negative thought with a positive thought. Like, what was it? Oh my gosh, Rachel, this morning, she was at work and she sent something. I don't mean to call you out so much, girl, but you were at work, and in our little Snap group outside of this, you guys, Rachel sent us a group, like, or a message where, oh my gosh, she said something about how people, I can't remember exactly what it was, but then she had later sent a picture of an English bulldog similar to one you see in my screen, and it was like in a jersey, and she was just so excited. She was like, Amanda, this made me think of you. And she was just in such a good mood, like being at work. And I think that a lot of us kind of have a mentality of, I don't want to be here, or oh my gosh, I have to be here. But in that moment, she was just like so excited to be there. And I just think that that is something that reflects your own self-talk. Once you get to a point where you can be excited to be you, I think it's a lot more easy to be excited about the things that are around you and about the things that you've created for yourself. Because my 22nd birthday is coming up this week. So thinking about the things that I've created, that I've created in these past like 4 years alone, just, it's incredible to me. And I think we all deserve, no matter what you've done or how you're feeling in this moment, I think we all deserve to give ourselves a little bit more credit. So I'm really proud of how far I've come with my self-talk. And if I really want to focus on something to improve with my relationship and my awareness with my self-talk, it's, again, I don't have to be positive all the time. It's a little exhausting if you don't give yourself that mental space. I've noticed that my eyes get a little bit baggier when I'm staying up at night. What's the Scott Disick quote? You aren't up all night thinking about all of the terrible things that have happened to you. Oh my gosh, I hope everyone knows what I'm talking about, but I know Felicia does. She sent it to us. So yeah, whenever I'm not doing that and I'm actually going to sleep and getting good rest and taking care of myself and being kind to myself physically and mentally through that self-talk, I think it really reflects physically. I think I feel better, I look better, I perform at the gym better. I just genuinely feel lighter mentally. So, and you guys can see the Christmas lights. I love lights. I'm a very light person. So I am going to throw it back to Felicia to kind of wrap us into our next topic.
Thank you, Amanda. Also, shout out to Amanda because it's going to be her birthday this week. It's her birthday on Wednesday. She turns 22. That's crazy to me because so Amanda, out of everybody, was like one of the first people that I met. And let me just say that, Amanda, I'm just proud of you. Like every day, all the time, I'm just proud of you. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish up with just a few random notes for the first topic that I came up with. Um, so I think how we were talking about how it is kind of hard, and I don't want to say that because you're like, yeah, you should do it. It makes such a difference, but not gonna. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you it's easy because it's not. But I think that starting with super small steps is so huge, just like with anything else. And I think positive affirmations is like a great way to do that because especially if you do them in the morning, which is what I kind of like to do. I do them before work so I can be positive when I don't feel positive. Or just in general to like start out my day. And I think the phrase how we were talking about like I have to be at work or I have to clean the house or I have to go drop off the kids, pick them back up, go to Kroger's to get grocery. Like, you know, it can, I don't know, everyday life just feels overwhelming sometimes. And it can be a very like, I have to do this. And I think a really great shift is I get to, like Amanda was saying, because I feel I've been doing that for myself at work lately. Like, okay, I'm going to work. I don't love my job, but I get to go there and make money. And I also get to go there and see, you know, some of my friends. So at least there's that. Because if you have to do it, it's like you might as well do it with like a positive act. Like it just feels better and it does feel lighter. I think that just being so negative towards just yourself and just thoughts in general about like life and people and everything, like it's so exhausting. I feel like it's physically draining. Like you don't even realize it until you start to take a mental note of like, wow, I feel great today. Like, what did I do today? Like, okay, well, I journaled or I did, you know, and it's, I don't know, you notice it really fast, or at least I did. Um, Also, an important reminder that because I think I felt this way a lot, especially with like when I started therapy or just in general, sometimes still like if I wake up and I just feel sad or whatever, I'm having a bad day, sometimes I almost just start to like shame myself for like feeling bad or feeling down. And I'm like, that's so counterproductive. Like, I need to just let myself feel these feelings and then I can just kind of move on with it. And I think sometimes also, like, I don't know, for me, it's like, okay, is this going to be like all day? Which, like, sometimes it's the case. Like, obviously, that's not like, you know, the best case scenario, but or is it just going to be like me for like 30 minutes and I can like shift my mindset and like turn today around, which is always obviously great and ideal. But there's definitely days where I'm just like, all right, I'm over it. I'm not doing anything. I know I had a whole to-do list, but I'm not doing it. It's fine. Like I've already accepted it. Okay, so we're going to move into topic number 2 today, which is showing yourself love through physical movement. Okay, so this is so good. So I think it's really important to remember, first of all, that there's so many ways to show yourself love through physical movement because I think people get stuck in like, I should be going to the gym or I should be doing cardio or whatever. Even if you find something and you fall in love with it, and then because I love the weight room. Like that's how I want to do movement. Or like by being outside. Like if I can do some like physical activities outside, like hiking or walking or whatever, even just walking is like perfect. Like even if you're just taking a walk, good. But it's like I fell in love with the weight room and then I've definitely had to take gym breaks for like various reasons. Recently, I hurt my knee, so I had been out of the gym for quite a while. So that was really frustrating just because it was like the end of winter and I'm like, all I want to do is go to the gym. I just want to go to the gym and lift stuff. But yoga and stretching are very underrated. Like that's something I honestly really need to be better about doing in the morning. And I have been since I've been back to the gym. I just can't do any leg stuff for a while, but oh well. And a big one for me, what I've been trying to do lately is really focus on form. Obviously, me being hurt, I have been doing physical therapy, so I've just been doing those as far as like leg exercises go. I did do, I think, just a few different things just to kind of see how it felt, but form is so important. If you're somebody who goes to the gym and like loves the weight room, nobody cares how much you're lifting. Literally nobody. And I think like I have to tell myself that sometimes, like it does not matter. It's just the fact that you're there, you're showing up. And form is important because we don't want to get hurt. We don't want to be out of the gym. We don't want to go to physical therapy. I don't want to go to physical therapy. So I'm going to focus on form and drop weight on pretty much everything, which is kind of, that's humbling for your ego, but it's good for you. So, all right, we're going to move on to Rachel.
Okay, so I feel like I just have so many ways of showing myself like physical love almost. And I don't necessarily think that like it has to be a form of activity. For example, I guess I really enjoy like getting out in the sunshine in the morning and putting my feet on the ground. Like I know Felicia mentioned this in our last episode. She started grounding a little bit recently, and you know, I haven't really necessarily like looked into the benefits of it, but there's just something about like putting your feet on the ground in cold dirt with grass, and you almost feel like a kid again. Because I swear when I was a child, I hardly ever wore shoes, and I loved it. I loved my childhood. It was great. So I don't necessarily believe that you have to be getting your heart rate up or sweating or necessarily, you know, moving as much as you think you need to show your body love. And just really eating good and drinking enough water throughout the day. It can really, really impact how you feel throughout the entire day, as we all have our water right next to us. But another form, I guess, if you will, I have a hobby that I have with my boyfriend. We really enjoy playing disc golf. We got into it, well, he's been playing for years, but I got into it when I first met him almost 3 years ago, and I really enjoy it. Not so much in the winter months, of course, but it's a really great activity. There's great people involved. I feel like every disc golfer I've ever met, I've always just instantly liked them. So option, just maybe find a hobby or something that you really enjoy doing outside or inside, even if it makes you feel good. Like Felicia said, yoga. I have a friend that does hot yoga a lot, and she absolutely loves it. And you know, there's just always options out there that don't require necessarily going places and being involved with other people. For me, I'm pretty introverted, so I don't really like to be in like a huge group setting, and the gym kind of terrifies me now. So I kind of struggle with that, but I do consistently lift every now and again. I don't have a routine down yet, but I'm working on it. We're gonna get there one day. And I just really enjoy following the Sculpt U. I think the program is just immaculate for busy people and adults. It's great. I don't know what else to say on, but yeah, I think I'm gonna throw it over to Ashley and get her thoughts on this.
Yeah, so honestly, number one, totally agree about the Sculpt U. Like since I got my new job, I haven't really had a consistent workout routine yet. And that's why I like the Sculpt U, because I can literally just, like today I went to the gym, and the Sculpt U, for people who don't know, for our listeners that don't know, they give you 6 days of workouts, and they give Sunday usually as a rest day. But you still have access to like all of the week's workouts. So like today I think I did like Tuesday's workout or something, because I know on Tuesday I'm working a long shift. I probably won't have time to work out or won't want to. And so it's just so convenient, just like mixing it up, having access to it at all times. Yeah, I really enjoy that. So I just wanted to say I agree. But yeah, regarding my ways that I kind of honor my body and show myself love through movement, I think those are synonyms, actually. I guess I used honor my body as, yeah. But anyway, so I have been trying to find a balance between honoring my body and, I don't want to say being lazy, but sometimes I've been letting myself slack when I know I could get up and move and I know I would feel better. Sometimes I just let myself slack. And I don't even mean that to say like when I'm not feeling 100%, I should still push myself to go to the gym every time. Like I just sometimes see it as all or nothing mentality. It's like I either sit home and do nothing or I go to the gym, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm trying to remind myself that. And so with that, I kind of just wanted to say this little goal here that I just thought of as everyone was talking. And you guys can hold me accountable for the week. On days when I don't feel like physically going to the gym and getting a workout in this week, I would like to, at the very least, just stretch and like feel, let my body feel good. I think that would really make me feel good. I am on my feet all the time at work. I'm working long weeks for the next few weeks. So I just think stretching at the very least will make me feel so good. So that's a goal of mine. And that's how I'm going to show myself love this week. And that may change next week, but yeah, I think that's what it's all about, is each day just honoring what your body feels like doing. Yeah, Rachel.
So I know for our listeners that don't know, Ashley and I actually kind of work similar shifts almost. She is like 3 hours behind me in time, but we both go to work at like 5:30 or 5:45 in the morning or something like that. So I guess just wanted to share with you, Ashley, but for any listeners that go to work really early in the morning too, I found that just taking like 5 minutes to genuinely like stretch your calves and your ankles and your feet and your arms and your shoulders, just take like 5 minutes. Really not that long, but if you have the time, it truly makes such a difference. I've been doing that recently, and I even do it at work. Like right before I get my job started, I will sometimes just take a minute to stretch and really just focus on making sure my body is ready to go for the day, especially how early it is and my body's not warmed up at all. So just wanted to add that little tip in there.
It took me a second to get the unmute button. Okay. So you guys, yes, when it comes to how we show ourselves love through physical movement, love through movement. I cannot piggyback enough off of what Ashley and Rachel are saying when it comes to stretching. And oh my goodness, Ashley, I will totally help you hold yourself accountable. And you guys, I'm going to piggyback off of that goal. You can hold me accountable. I want to stretch during my work days. You guys, I feel very privileged to say, knowing, let me just acknowledge, we have some badass ladies in here. All three of these ladies that are in here right now, and our couple of missing co-hosts. Check us all out. All the socials in the descriptions for everybody, even the missing people who aren't here, and all four of us today. But long story short, all of us are some badass, hardworking ladies. And you ladies should inspire me endlessly every day. And I'm privileged to say I do work from home. And working from home, I've come to notice, I don't know if any of our viewers or our viewers or listeners have really seen this, but when it comes to squat form, hear me out. Even if you don't go to the gym, even if you don't squat or work out whatsoever, don't work out, diddly squat. When it comes to squatting, think of your foot. Like imagine my hand. If you're listening, imagine the palm of someone's hand, right? And my index finger is the big toe, right? And then pinky toe is my pinky finger. And then the very bottom of the pad of my wrist, the pad of my hand where it connects to the wrist is my heel of the foot, right? So the heel of the foot and the pinky toe and the big toe, if you connect all those points with lines, you can make a triangle on your foot, right? All of those points are kind of like pressure points on your foot. And if you think about it, and a lot of us don't think about it, but when you actively try to apply equal pressure to the heel, the pinky toe, and the oh my goodness, what's the other toe? I totally forgot what it was. Heel, pinky toe, and big toe. Big toe, that's what it is. Find that triangle and try to apply equal pressure and then stretch while applying that equal pressure in your feet. Oh my goodness. And look up squat triangle feet if you have to. Oh my God, you might get some weird Google results. That's not my fault if you Google it. That's your own free will. But if you Google it, you'll probably find what I'm talking about and try to apply pressure to all those points when you stretch. I show my body so much love in those movements in the sense of like, I get warm in the face when I do that. Like I engage muscles I don't usually engage. I've come to realize that I walk a lot on my like the outside of my feet and then like near my pinky toes and then on my heels. So I've been trying to apply pressure with my like big toe and the inner palm of my feet. I have a rounded foot at the bottom. So applying this pressure has actually started to flatten out my feet. Like I've started to like work out those muscles, and I don't, obviously my feet aren't going to be flat like completely ever. That's just not how they are, but it's just been so helpful to stretch that way. So if you guys get the chance, I would totally say go for trying that triangle stretch or trying that triangle pressure point idea. But other than that, I go to the gym a lot, showing myself movement. I don't mean to ramble, but I get so excited when I talk about it because I love general movement. Like when you get to a point where I think I wanted to mention this, like when you get to a point where you're no longer surpassing the challenge of being consistent. You know, say you're at the beginning of any kind of workout or fitness journey, say if that's what you want to call it, but say you don't work out often and you're trying to dive into fitness. A lot of times people think that, oh my gosh, once I pass this big hump and feel consistent and I'm going every day, I will be so awesome. I'll feel great all the time. I'll always want to go to the gym. And I'll be totally honest, that's not always how it is. And it's really easy to fall into a habit of being consistent with going to the gym, but not doing things like Madre Fee or Felicia said, and lowering your weight, humbling yourself to focus on that movement, on that genuine form. Like challenge yourself to improve small things and see how far that will take you. So I think that's another way that I'm trying to challenge myself to improve, because I do show up to the gym. I'm so consistent. That's something I've mastered now, is that consistency of showing up. But now I've got to master listening to my body while I'm there. So that's definitely another way I want to show my body some love. And I've been trying to show my body some love. I've also been trying to turn down my AirPods because my iPhone is telling me that it's hurting my hearing. So I'm trying to show my earbuds some love. Or is it earbuds? What is it? What am I, not earlobes? What's the word I'm thinking of? I'm so embarrassed.
Eardrums.
Eardrums. Yes, I'm trying to save my eardrums. So I think that's a good way to be kind to myself. And I'm sure many of our listeners and viewers can relate, especially if you're listening on AirPods or AirPods. This is, what am I saying? Airbud. I love that movie, but I don't need to talk about it right now. Yes, if you're listening on any kind of earbud or AirPod, here's your sign to turn it down. You probably could turn that volume down. But yes, I'm just going to throw it right back to Felicia to round us back out. We have one more topic, you guys, and it's our third topic of the night. So go, Felicia, go.
Thank you, Amanda. What was I going to say? Okay, yeah. So like Amanda said, honestly, honoring your body really is so important, because I know myself personally and a lot of people, it really is that hump and like, all right, I'm going to be consistent. And then you get to be consistent. And I'm like, okay, I'm working out 6 days a week. And it's like, yes, there are 6 workouts in the Sculpt-U, but I love that they make a point to, because I remember asking Katrina one time, like, am I supposed to be lifting 6 days a week? Because I would be honestly so tired that I would come home and not be able to like I wouldn't want to do anything else. And it's like, okay, well, I can't lift 6 days a week if I'm going to be so tired that I can't clean my house. What? Like, no, that's not good. And I didn't realize honestly at the time either that muscle recovery, like if you are somebody who is like being consistent in the gym and that's your thing and you're doing like the progressive overload and you're really trying to build muscle, you can't build muscle if you don't take rest days. And I wasn't really aware of that, which yes, I was taking a rest day, but I don't think one rest day is enough, honestly. Like, I really think that, like, honestly, if you're lifting, and especially if you're lifting heavy, if you're lifting anything like Taylor, oh my God. Taylor, what did Taylor hit on the leg press? Something.
1,000 plus pounds. I think it was maybe 1,005, 1,010.
Yeah, 1,010 or
Shout
something
out
like
to
that.
Taylor, y'all. Oh.
Insane. Oh my goodness.
So
Go
yeah,
her.
if you're lifting heavy in the gym, like if you're anything like that and you're, getting, getting stronger. And I know it really does almost get like addictive. It's like you don't want to like take a rest day. You're like, oh, I really wish I could just go to the gym right now, because you do like fall in love with it. It's so funny to come on the other side of that, because I really never thought I was going to be that person. Like, it was so weird being that person that was like, all right, Felicia, you don't need to go to the gym today. Like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, so ridiculous. Like, Brandon's like, were you at the gym for 2.5 hours? Like, you don't have to be at the gym for 2.5 hours. I mean, you can be, like, I do sometimes, but like, just realizing that you can't absolutely kill yourself freaking 5 days a week for 3 hours. You'll die. Like, it's just not good for your body. I think that was pretty much it. So we'll go to topic number 3, last topic, how we show ourselves love through the media that you take in. And this is something I feel like that is so important. I am like dreading the day that my daughter like has any form of social media, and I like know that it's coming in the near, like not in the near future, but like in the future. But I'm just like, oh my god, because it's like, okay, on Instagram you can message people, wonderful, but like if it's my kids, like I don't want people to be able to get a hold of my kid on Instagram. Like, I mean, and obviously when that time comes, like I'm gonna usually you can like set like limitations and stuff, but like it's really scary. Like, it's so scary to think about. But I think that it's important to remember that your social media, what you take in, like your diet is also, what you're seeing, like what you're watching, what you're reading, who you're hanging out with, like all of that stuff. It really is so important. And I think it was like after I joined the Sculpt You, I think I had joined for like a month, and then that's when I made my fitness Instagram page, which I like really hesitated to make. I don't know, I felt so like weird, but I also didn't want to put my like squatting videos on my regular Instagram, so I was like, fuck it. So but honestly, I'm glad that I did that, because it's been really great. But once I started that, I really went through and was like careful about who I followed. And I think in the beginning, it was really just like Katrina, girls in the Sculpt You, like women like weightlifters that I like. I mean, and then like a few like random celebrities, but then it always gets to a point where like, I don't know about you guys, but like I'll just randomly be following people and I'm like, who is this? Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just like, who do I know this person? Like, obviously I follow some people I don't know, like not celebrities, but like Katrina type of, I don't know what you would call it, and I don't know. But anyways, and then every once in a while I go through and just look again at like who I'm following and like who follows me, and I don't know, just to make sure it's not even about like, because I think some people like just take it like really negative, but I've unfollowed people and it's not personal. It's just when I'm scrolling, I obviously want it to like, I want to feel good. Don't want it to feel bad. And I feel like I realized that certain like pages, companies, whatever, just didn't make me feel good. And it was just like, so why do I felt like, I don't know. I felt like I needed to, I don't know. It was just weird. And I think that we don't really think about it like until you kind of go through. And so I like to do that every once in a while. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Rachel.
Okay, so I totally agree 100% with Felicia. I actually, when I joined the Sculpt You, it took me a couple months to realize that I was not following good people. And I was spending a lot of time on social medias. And this was before like TikTok was a big thing, and Instagram was the thing, and Twitter was the thing, and stuff like that. So I took a good look at my followers and who I followed. And I actually like, there was a couple people that I didn't even follow back, but I like blocked them from seeing me because there's no point, like there's a lot of people that I followed before or that I knew before that they don't know me now. So why do they need to follow me? And I also did the same thing for myself. I went through everybody that I was following, and I was following like over 1,000 people. And I was like, I don't know 1,000 people. Why am I following 1,000 people? And I almost had like a little epiphany. I was like, what is it? Okay. So 2 hours later, I'm just scrolling through all of my followers, all the people I'm following, and I'm just unfollow, 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 unfollow because I hate seeing their content. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I was just scrolling past this content for no reason. It was giving me no information. It was useful to me. It was sometimes lying in certain situations. And I really dislike the term influencer, honestly. I know that there's a lot of people that claim to be influencers or whatever. But man, I'm not trying to like hurt feelings or anything, but I just think that there's so many people that have the wrong intentions when they become an influencer. And they share whatever, maybe they do believe in it, I don't know, but they just share whatever to either make money or to get extra followers or whatever the case may be for their purpose of that. But I realized that I do not enjoy taking that in. And it was taking a toll on my mental health for sure, because I would see all these photoshopped women that are not realistic in any way. They look like Barbie dolls. They were just put in front of a beach or something. And it was horrible for me because I was the 19, 20-year-old young woman trying to find herself, also like growing, and my body was changing, my whole life, like everything about me was changing. And I was wondering why I wasn't turning into one of them. But then I realized that it's because they're fake, they're not real. And it took me a long time to realize. I feel like I say that, I keep saying that, but it really genuinely did take me a long time. And I think that for anybody listening or watching, I think that just understand like it's okay if you need to take that time to, it took me almost 2 hours to unfollow everyone. If you need to take that time, do it. You will feel 100% better when you actually open your whatever app you're on and you see something like the Sculpt You posts a lot, and so does Katrina. And actually the other day she posted something about drinking coffee before you eat anything in the day. And that has changed my whole perspective on like everything, because I didn't realize that coffee was not great for you before you eat. And I was like that because I go to work so early in the morning. I drink coffee immediately when I wake up because I need that boost. And most of the time I'm not hungry at 4:30 in the morning. So that was really nice to see. And she gave a full explanation on it from her RD that is in the Sculpt You. And that's the stuff that I think is worth taking in and worth spending your time on social media. But I kind of want to get down to like the comparison thing. I think that so many young women, I talk to so many young women that I work with, and everybody just always is like, why can't I look like this? Why don't I have this mentality? Why can't I have this boyfriend or this relationship? Or, this looks perfect and my life isn't. And it's so sad to me that nobody really knows that this stuff is just like highlights of people's life. It's never a full day in anybody's life. It's just fake. It's like fake in a way, but it's also real in some instances, but majority of the time it's not real. Those people are mostly unhappy with some aspect of their life and they're not doing anything to work on it. So I feel like I should stop rambling. I see Felicia's hand is up, so I'm gonna let her.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Rachel. And I think it is sad because so I am a waitress and I work with a lot of younger women. And I just turned 35, and a lot of like I think like one of them is turning 21 soon. So like they're pretty young. And I get it because obviously I've been there. It is very toxic. Like the comparison game is ridiculous. And I think that it sucks because it's everywhere. It sucks because it's not just on social media. It's in TV. It's in literally everything. Like it's in your face all the time. I Like in order to get away from it, you have to consciously, make that like that effort. And it is a big effort, I think, because just it's 2022, social media is all over the place. There are lots of, I hate that word, influencers, but there are. And influencers are just that, they're influential. And when you're spending, and I get it. Like I've been there and I am like I would like buy random stuff, but like when some people are just spending like insane amounts of money, and it's crazy to think about it because you're buying Alani because of like the athletes. You're buying this brand mostly because of these affiliates, which like that's fine, but like don't spend money if you don't have money. I feel like that is like, and I even some of them will say that, and I think like, yeah, that's definitely something you should say when you're making that profit off of that, which that's fine. I not hating on it, but I think it's like so important to like just have that reminder. And it sounds silly, but it's like it's easy to get caught up, and it's like don't get caught up because nobody.
I definitely hit stop recording, so that's why there's this really weird cut here. But anyways, continue, JP.
No, you're fine. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll finish up, but basically don't compare yourself to other people. I think that is why I love following the Sculpture so much, because Katrina is very real about it. And it's sad because I myself and so many other like women that I know spend money on like stupid stuff like cellulite cream and like stretch mark cream, and it's like it literally doesn't work. Like it's not, like it's just not. And it's crazy to me that anyone can even like put that out there. And not only is it out there, of course it's like and stupid expensive. Like I remember I bought some like stretch mark cream, I think maybe when I was pregnant with Marley. And it's like looking back, I just wish that I could have told myself, like, look, girl, you're either gonna get him or you're not. Like that's it. Like I hate to say it, and I hate, but like to be real, like I just wish somebody would have like told me that. So when I like run into these young women at work, and like these young women are gorgeous, like it's ridiculous. And they're like, I want to like do this or do this. And I was like, if that like makes you feel better, but like don't do it because like you think that you need to, or because you want to look like this or that, because you're so like pretty, like just the way that you are. Like, and I feel like I just sound so old when I'm at work. But and then I'm just gonna wrap up with, I've been setting timers for like social media, specifically Instagram, because that's where I spend most of my time. So I set a timer for that, and then once the timer goes off, I try to really just like not get back on it. Like you can obviously if you want to, but like I try to just stay off of it. And then I've been putting my phone on do not disturb a lot, which I always thought was weird because I just recently got an iPhone. I just remember the first time I texted somebody and it was like, their notifications have been silenced. I'm like, what? I didn't know what to think. I really was like caught off guard. But I've been doing that a lot, where I'll put my phone on airplane mode, which is great. But you can't use the internet, I don't think, on airplane mode. So that's why I try to do the do not disturb. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and let Amanda come back in because I know she had her hand raised.
Yeah, well, sorry, Ashley actually was about to go. I had my hand raised on accident. That's why we had that cut hiccup. My bad, but go, Ashley, go. I'll go after.
That's funny. Technical difficulties. Yeah, so okay, let me see if I can gather my thoughts here. Number one, I wanted to say we were talking about influencers a little bit, and I don't remember who said it on Instagram. Or maybe it was TikTok. I honestly don't remember, but I swear in the last couple days, I saw someone on my feed saying that the term influencer like isn't real because we can all be influential. And that's so true because literally all of you guys are influential to me every single day. I can't even imagine like the number, like when I see everyone posting, just like sharing what they use on Instagram or something, like even if I don't physically comment on your post, I want you all to know this, and any of my friends outside of, this group too, and just anyone that I see, honestly, if I follow you, I am hyping you up. Like, I want everyone to know that. Because like Rachel said, I've gone through my feed, and what I used as well was if I found myself, anytime I saw a specific person's post, if I found myself just scrolling right past it without engaging or giving it a second thought at all, after like a certain time, I would kind of unfollow them because I'm like, I'm obviously not even engaging with their content. I'm not enjoying it. Like, why do I follow them? And then also the same thing, like really the only thing that I have a lot of people from like high school and stuff on is Facebook. So I've slowly been working on getting rid of people that I don't interact with anymore, just as I see their name pop up. But anyways, Instagram is the main one, and really it's just know if I follow you, like I am hyping you up, even if it's behind the scenes, because I feel like I've gotten really good at making my feed into something that I enjoy going through when I have the time. And similar to Felicia, like I really just try, and I think Amanda's been working on it too, actually, not scrolling so much, just not scrolling mindlessly. And yeah, so anyways, and I'm also just wanted to mention, I love that Rachel mentioned setting boundaries with your social media too, like not only unfollowing people yourself, but blocking people from seeing your things who really don't need to. I love that so much. Wonderful idea. All right, Amanda.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love there's so much to say. My mind is full of amazing things to respond to. I guess I kind of want to backtrack and then I'll come to everything because you guys know that I have a perspective on this for sure. When it comes to okay, let me start early. So when I was in early high school, right? You know how a lot of people, their parents were like, go outside, you got to spend your day outside and then don't come in, all this and that. My parents were gamers. So I would play games growing up. I watched a lot of YouTube growing up, and growing up, I always like mid 2000s, like maybe I was 12, 2012, 2013. I always wanted to be an influencer. I wanted to be a YouTuber. I still post videos on YouTube and all that. We had this podcast, but it was like not in the best light of, I basically didn't post anything when I was that young because I knew that I didn't want to share who I was then because I had so much more to become. Like there was so much more I wanted to learn. Cancel culture wasn't even a thing back then, but I watched so much YouTube and knew like this is around for a long time. I want to be proud of who I am first before I share this. And it took me a long time to figure this out. I was like 12 when I wanted to do that. I didn't start posting videos until I was like 18, 19 consistently. And I realized that the reason I waited so long was because I want to share things. I want to live a life that's worth sharing instead of sharing a life that I'm living to share. You know what I mean? I don't want to live a life to share, but I want to live a life that's so incredible. I want to be there for the experience behind it and be so excited to experience that I want to share it with people. I don't want to do it because I have to share it or I have to have some kind of content for the next whatever it is. I want to do something because I want to do something. And if it's so exciting, I literally find myself in that moment genuinely wanting to create content because I'm like, oh my gosh, and the way I think about it now is like, I want to share this with other people so I can look back at this. It's literally like a video diary. So when I'm old, God forbid anything happened, I can remember a lot. Like I am able to see my life that I lived in this moment. I think it's just such a cool tool to use. But like all of you have mentioned, it's so important to realize where people are presenting a life that is just highlights. Like that isn't somebody showing their actual struggles, talking about like the cleaning behind the scenes of all the aesthetic kitchens and the dirtiness of doing the dishes and running the water and the muck of swippering the floor that you haven't swiffered in a week. There's just so many little things that I think that's what I love sharing the most because it's genuinely living life. I think there's a big difference in creating content that you just want things to see, want people to come and see, and then creating content that you want yourself to see later down the line. You know what I mean? Like just something to be proud of and a mindset to be proud of. And when I was, oh my gosh, I don't know if I've shared this with anybody. I think I might have shared this in a group, but when I was like, when I was in that age, I was struggling a lot with an eating disorder. And I don't know if any of us remember if you guys were Tumblr people, there was hashtag Finspo and things of the sort, just terrible, terrible triggering tags. And I had an Instagram account dedicated to things with these tags that had, I don't remember how I got it. Bless you, Rachel. Rachel sneezed. No one could hear it, but if you're watching, you can see it. But I had an Instagram account that I had accumulated or I had gotten from somebody that had over 10,000 followers on it. And it was just dedicated to these horrible pictures on these tags. And one day I just when I finally started to choose recovery, I got rid of the account. I gave it away. And I was just like, whoever wants this, I don't want it. I need to get rid of it. And I gave it away to somebody. Thank gosh I did, because that was able to kickstart something in me. And I just found a genuine passion for taking care of myself. And I think that the biggest thing is, I don't want to start like rambling, but when it comes to showing myself love today, that was the past. And now moving forward to today, like everybody was saying, it's important to realize that you can alter yourself. You can get fillers, you can get implants, you do whatever you want to your body as long as you know and have always wanted in your heart that you want that, and that's going to be a part of you that you are like, that you want to embrace, that you've always envisioned on yourself. And you see these women all the time who are so confident and happy after they have all these things done. But then you also see the latter side of people who get it done who aren't happy, who have that boyfriend by their side, that significant other, girlfriend, anyone by their side that's kind of pressuring them because of their own wants and looks. I think that there's a big difference in the results mentally when it comes to that. So the physical outcome may be similar to both. Everyone's going to be beautiful, but at the end of the day, it's about your mental health and where you're at before you have those things done. And I think it's just so important to acknowledge if you have had anything, if you have had anything done, so it doesn't set a standard, so you can embrace it. And then so other women can be like, oh my gosh, it's normal. Because it is, every bit is normal. Be like Rachel said, being yourself and not having things done and feeling so incredible in yourself is totally normal and is a point you should be at before you get anything done. Because once you have that feeling, that core feeling of loving your value and your personal, your real truth and your honest self, then you'll realize like, oh my gosh, I love myself even more or you'll realize like, oh, I don't need this. I love myself as much as I want now. You know what I mean? It's just so clear when you genuinely dig into yourself and start to create your own sense of self-love, to be honest. And when you take in that media, I think it's so important to realize, from my perspective, honestly, it's a little funny. I grew up in a tiny town. So when we talk about unfollowing people, I had to ask myself so seriously, whether it was my Facebook friends, whether it was like who I was following on Instagram, I had to ask myself, am I talking to these people? Am I interacting with their content, or am I being nosy? Am I personally being nosy in these people's lives that I don't even talk to, that I used to compare myself to in high school, middle school, college, whatever it is? Do I need to know anything? Do I actually like their content? Do I actually entertain myself with what they post? Or am I just being nosy? And that helped me filter through, like everyone here has said so far, filter through what I wanted to follow and see and what I didn't. Like I just didn't talk to them. And my following, like Rachel said, I was following like over 1,000 people. And then it dropped so fast. So I see a couple people have their hands raised. So Ashley, go for it.
I almost started talking before I unmuted. That would have been awkward. Anyway, so I just wanted to say, so when you were talking about how you've really transformed into creating content that you want to look back on rather than like content that you expect people would want to see, like, well, I don't know if you really said that part, but one, I'm proud of you for shifting that mindset in your content creating. But also it reminds me like, or it makes me think of, I guess, that's honestly how I've started taking pictures and like saving memories. Like I've really wanted to be, I'm focusing on being present in the moment when I'm with people, or, you know, just in general in my daily life, being more present. But at the same time, I will really try and like stop and take a picture of something that I want to be able to look back on. Like literally, I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know if it was during our little pre-podcast meeting or if it was while we were recording, but Lola was over here behind the computer on the patio and I took a picture of her because she was just like, sunlight was behind her and it was like a cute little moment. Like that's something that I want to look back on. So I don't know. Basically, I guess what I'm saying is that's also, I've kind of also done that in just what I share is like things that I want to look back on, but it's also something that that's just influenced even what I take pictures of or what I make an effort to remember. I don't know. But yeah, Rachel, you have your hand raised as well.
Yeah, so I don't know, I just kind of wanted to like mention like intentions with using social media. And I think that there is so many great outlets on social media. I think that it can be a wonderful place to meet people. Obviously, I met all of these wonderful ladies through social media. And I'm forever grateful for that because I love them so much. And we're missing Taylor and Mallory today, but they're in our hearts right now and we are thinking of them. I also kind of wanted to like mention something that might be like not so much talked about, I think, but there was a point in my life where I had a relationship that was almost competitive in gym life and like social media life. And it kind of was based around like social media and how much we worked out. And it's just not healthy in any way possible. But I know that I have talked to a few women about it, obviously, in the Sculpt U, and they have shared their stories with me about just like being either friends or in a relationship with somebody that is just very competitive in a bad way. Like, I think competition, it can be great at some points. I mean, I play in disc golf tournaments, like, it's great competitive atmosphere, but everybody is rooting for each other. They're not rooting for themselves all the time. And I think that that's a big thing with social media, or it can be in your daily life relationships. Somebody pushing you to consistently post or consistently work out or look a certain way because they have this vision in their mind that you have to look like this, or you have to look like this person, or you have to have this aesthetic on your Instagram or your Twitter or whatever. So just a little mindfulness tip and some intentional practices that I think everybody can benefit from, including myself. I mean, I still have issues with comparing myself to people on Instagram and Twitter and, just everywhere, basically. Even just working at my job, I'm like, oh my God, she is beautiful. Why don't I look like that? And then I'm like, why am I thinking like that? Like, I'm beautiful in my own way, and that is my power. Nobody else looks like me. Nobody else has my personality. Nobody else has my smile. Like, that's my power. We're all unique in our own ways, and we should all love ourselves. So I think I'm going to throw it to Felicia now, and I think she's going to help close this out.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, I agree 100%. It is, I think it's really important to sit with yourself. Like I know this sounds silly, but like sometimes I'll be anxious and it's like, okay, I'm anxious, but like what's making me anxious? Or wow, I feel kind of sad today, but like, why do I feel sad? Like, I think we underestimate just sitting with your body, literally just sitting with your body. I like to close my eyes because I feel like, I don't know, I can like concentrate better. And then just like take a couple deep breaths, like, how do you feel? Especially like if I have free time, it's like my free time is like not obviously unlimited. So when I have free time, I'm like, what should I do? And just like the other night, I was like, I should really take a shower. So I did take a shower, like, or I should really, honestly, I just want to watch some TV. Like, I don't feel like reading a book. I don't feel like journaling. I don't feel like doing any of this. Like, I just want to hang out. Like, okay. And just like hang out. Like, I don't know. And it's just crazy how like simple that is, but how often I never did that for years. Like, I don't know, I just took such trash care of my body when I was like younger, and it's like, but also I just wanted to say, I think that it's like, so getting like fit or getting healthy or however you want to look at it, like feeling good in your body, whatever like your goal is. I feel like people also underestimate just sleeping, eating decent, getting some kind of movement, literally whatever you want to do 3 to 4 times a week. And like, just, I don't know, stretching, like just making sure like, you're doing things like that, and just like sitting with yourself, which I know, like, I always hear like a lot of people say like, I just can't meditate, or I don't know, I've tried it, but I just can't like focus. And I get it, because like it definitely was like hard for me in the beginning. I feel like your mind is like very busy, but like just because you're having thoughts doesn't mean like you're not meditating right. Like, it's normal to be meditating and having thoughts. It's really just the practice of, and I remember my brother told me this, actually was the first person that said it. And I was like, thank you for saying that, because no one's ever said that to me. And all this time I'm like, I just can't do it. And he was like, just try this. And I was like, this is why I love you. And so when I'm doing it and a thought comes, regardless of what it is, because I'm just trying to clear my mind, I just acknowledge it and then try to go back to like focusing on something like my breath or whatever. Like, and I think breath is like easiest for me personally, but what else was I gonna say? I just write down random notes and then have to look around for them. And like, yeah, like Rachel was saying, I feel like it really is the fact that like nobody is you. Like all of us are so unique. Like I think Amanda was saying today, she's like, it's just so funny. Like she like saw Brandon in like a Snapchat, which is just so funny. Because it was so random. But she's like, your kids look just like you guys, which obviously like that's the point, but like I don't know. Like things like that are just like so cute. Like I remember Katrina saying something like realizing that she looked like her grandma, or and so and we do all look like our family members, or whatever, most of us. And you guys just talking about being present, that was literally like my really, like, I don't like to do like goals or like New Year's resolutions or whatever, but really for me that is it, because my kids are growing up so fast. Everyone's going to be in school all day next year. I don't know, it just kind of stresses me out, but and like time is just going by so fast, and so I just want to like remember it. And so that is my goal this year. And then also Ashley was talking about pictures are so important. I really just remember realizing like one day that's literally all you're going to have left of everybody. Like everyone's going to be gone and you're just going to have pictures. Like, so if you don't have pictures, I mean, obviously you have memories, but like those are just so special to look back on. And I think for years, like I just didn't want to be in pictures, or like if I didn't want to be in a picture by myself, or I didn't want to be in a picture of me in my swimsuit or anything like that. And it's like, that just makes me so sad. Like that's what I was like thinking about. Like it should be about like, oh, I want to take this picture so we can like remember it forever. Like pictures are just so special. So what does everybody's favorite form of self-care look like? Because I think that's so interesting, because everybody definitely has different like techniques. And I like to journal. I like to meditate, obviously. And I feel like there really is so many like people, I don't know, like it's nice to have a toolbox, I guess, is almost like a good way to put it. Like really, or coping mechanism, honestly, which really, if you think about it, like just for life in general, like, okay, I'm gonna go in my room and like shut the door and like take like 5 deep breaths and I'll be right back. Like, and it sounds so silly, something again that's like so simple, but it's like really works so well, so important.
So I guess I'll go ahead with my self-care. I am horrible at routines. I just can't seem to keep up with them at all. Getting up for work so early in the morning is very taxing, and it's really hard to find the energy for a routine in the morning, at least. But I at least get up, I brush my teeth every single morning. I make sure that I have at least 5 minutes to stretch my body in some way. I make my coffee and my breakfast in the morning. It just really makes the day kind of just start well. But I feel like on a day off, my ideal like self-care day that I would take from the entire day pretty much. Washing my hair is one of them. That's a whole task in itself. Shaving my legs, literally just another whole task in itself. And just really trying to focus on my skincare. I have really bad skin for the most part. I did when I was a little bit younger, and the last couple years I've been really trying to focus on making sure I eat good enough so that my skin can somewhat get better. I just have really bad hormonal acne most of the time. And so focusing on a nice skincare routine is absolutely key. And then just like I think Felicia said, meditating, getting some yoga in or sunshine is probably my ideal self-care day.
I'm very similar to you, Rachel, actually, in that like my self-care days are mostly on my days off. Like I really try, especially when I just work the longer shifts or extra days, I try to incorporate some self-care in my evenings, but most of the time I feel like my evenings go by so quickly, and so it's just hard. Like I feel like I need to get to bed to be ready for the next day, and just because I get up so early. But Yeah, I agree. Like, I love a good, just full day of self-care. I think my number one thing is going to the gym when I feel like it, like when my body is ready for it, and just going really hard, like really enjoying a good session, because I don't get them very often with how much I work. Um, and like, I think for me, it's also just the long drive. The commute makes it really hard because it's like I work a normal shift almost, but like my commute is just so long. It takes so much time. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just trying to not, I don't know. I don't want to make excuses, but at the same time, like, anyways, a good gym sesh is really a good self-care activity for me. Other than that, like, well, the past 2 weekends, I've been going to Trader Joe's and just buying whatever my heart desires, like 2 or 3 things. I bought some really pretty flowers. That's always a good one. I just love a pretty bouquet of flowers. And another one, oddly enough, is cleaning my kitchen. Like, for me, my kitchen is the number one space where if it's like just beautifully clean, I feel amazing. It doesn't matter what else is going on. Like, my kitchen is clean, I feel great. But I don't know. So those are just a few activities that I really enjoy. And I don't know if anyone has said it yet, but please do, listeners, comment on our post and let us know what your self-care activities are, because we always love to hear from you guys. And then I'll throw it to Amanda to hear what hers are.
Yes, don't be scared. Please drop all the comments below. Oh my gosh. And if you're listening and you're driving, please be safe. Don't comment anything right now, but go to the Instagram or something and comment on the post there and let us know your self-care activities. But similar to you ladies, if it's like a work day, to generally take care of myself, I'll wake up and wash my face. I'll listen to my body in the sense of physically listening to my body. Like, I used to tell myself like, oh, my skin's oily, so I'll never use a moisturizer in the morning, or my skin's this, so I'll never do this. But now I'm more so like, I'm just gonna see what my skin needs. So for a couple of days, I recently got a new face wash. I was so excited about it. I talked to all these ladies. I told them, I was like, you guys, look, it came in the mail. And I found out recently, I was like, look, it's this big thing of face wash. Turns out I was buying the refill and just using a ton of it, pouring this huge bottle into my hand, just getting a tiny bit of it. And it comes out in like a spray. I'm still using the big bottle. But long story short, I washed my face with that and I was like, it feels so good. The first couple of days, I didn't use anything afterwards. My face felt so good, looked great. And then the next couple of days, or the couple of days after that, it was really dry. So I was like, I'm going to put moisturizer on today. And a couple of days after that, it didn't feel dry. So I didn't. So I was really just genuinely listening to my body and how I wanted to take care of it for that self-care. So my routine really varies when it comes to stuff like that. But I will say, my main self-care days come when, ladies, you'll understand, or any people with periods, you guys will understand. I have my self-care day the first day of my period. Every time it starts, there's something about as soon as those cramps hit, like, and you like, as soon as you go to the bathroom, I'm not gonna go into any more detail, but you find out that you're actually on your period, cramps hit different. Like, I don't know what it is, y'all, but it gets so much more painful after that moment, after you realize it. And that day just turns for me. Not even joking. It doesn't matter what I had planned for the day. Scratch it all. I'm Uber Eating something. I'm asking my boyfriend for flowers and chocolates. And I'm going to play some gosh darn video games the rest of the day while binge watching TV in between. So I think those are most of my self-care days. But it's really what you would see as a typical, like, self-care day, just morning face routine. And I had the entire day. I'll be totally honest. If you're my work and you're watching, no, you're not. Okay, you didn't hear this. I'm kidding. They probably support this. But I recently did something that I've never done before. I took an entire day out of work. Like, I did the whole, like, taking the day off through my work schedule. I waited several weeks for the day to come. And I just had this random day off in the middle of the week to do whatever I wanted. And I've never done that before. I was always like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to go by my work schedule and take the days that I have off. But this time I took that initiative weeks before. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a little burnt out here soon. I could tell. So I'm just going to take this day off and do what I want. I didn't even leave the apartment, you guys. Or I guess I left. I went on a jog around my apartment. It's spring, so everything's blooming and blossoming. I joined the sun. And it was just incredible. And it was something that I think was a great action to take to genuinely take care of myself. So if we're talking about self-care days, this is your sign. Anyone watching and listening, yeah, take the day off. Call out, maybe not call out. Okay, give them good notice. Go the right way about it. But I think that's why I felt so good about it too, because I was secure on every sense of the reasoning behind my being out and taking every precaution necessary. So thank you to everyone listening. Again, let us know your self-care activities. And if anyone else has anything to say, please raise your hand now. But I will just say goodbye, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Until next time.
Bye. Yay. Thank you.
Bye.
And yeah, definitely follow us on Instagram, guys. I love to hear what people think. So I just want to get some feedback. So any feedback is always much appreciated, even if it's criticism.
At Healing Our Homes podcast. Or no, wait. Is
Yes.
that it? Yeah.
Healing Our Homes Podcast, yes, is our Instagram handle. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.